this session will be regarding Git and GitHub. How this Git process works, what exactly Git is, what is GitHub, like what are differences between Git and GitHub, what are other tools we are going to use for or we use for having version control. Version control is nothing but Git. So this call will be regarding that. We'll give a glance about how Git works and how other companies use this Git as their repository. What exactly Git is? So this just remember the term. We'll understand what exactly it is. This is known as some tool which which is used for uh, which is basically a version control tool. Version control. Okay. Git is what? Git is known as version control. Now let's take a literal meaning of version control. So if I split this particular keyword version control in two, like one version and one control. Okay. What exactly version is? Version मतलब क्या होगा कि if you are at some particular version कि 1.0.0 and you have moved to 1.0.2. ठीक है, तो पहले आपका इनिशियली आपका वर्जन क्या था 1.0.1 या फिर 1.0.0, फिर यू हैव मूव टू 1.0.2. तो ये क्या हो रहा है? सो बेसिकली व्हेनेवर यू सी इन योर एप्लीकेशंस, राइट, मोबाइल एप्लीकेशंस, तो व्हेनेवर यू गेट न्यू अपडेट, राइट, तो व्हाट इट सेज, अ न्यू वर्जन इज रेडी टू इंस्टॉल. तो नया वर्जन, you have what you are downloading, you're downloading a package with new version of that particular application, right? तो वो क्या होता है? So what exactly it is? So these are different versions of one simple application. ठीक है, तो दैट इज नथिंग बट वर्जन. अब कंट्रोल, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली कंट्रोल मींस, टेक लिटिल मीनिंग. कंट्रोल मतलब यू आर गोइंग टू हैव कंट्रोल ऑन दोज वर्जन्स कि इफ यू आर हैविंग दिस वर्जन it's going to be saved somewhere. If you are having this version, it's going to be saved somewhere. अब if you see, right, if you are having this particular version 1.0.0, ये आपके मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन, consider this one application called Geekster. ठीक है, तो इसका इनिशियल वर्जन इज 1.0.0. So this application is installed in a mobile phone. Now what happens is we are going to add some few more features to this application, Geekster application, and I want these new features so that you can use these new features. So what I'll do, I'll push new version somewhere. I'll push this version, probably Play Store or App Store, जो भी है. ठीक है, तो what you will do, you are going to download this new version and install in your mobile application, right? Basic है इतना. So far so good कि वर्जन क्या होता है. तो नाउ what I'll do is, क्योंकि मेरा नया वर्जन है, because I have introduced few more features in it, what I'll do, I'll change this version to 1.0.2 or whatever, मतलब जो आपकी मर्जी है, you can have this versions. तो अब नया वर्जन कौन सा हुआ? 1.0.2. But I still have this 1.0.0 version somewhere in my repository. Repository मतलब कहीं तो मेरे फाइल में स्टोर करके रखा हुआ है मैंने वर्जन. अब कंसिडर करो कि ये वाले पर्टिकुलर पैकेज में और दिस पर्टिकुलर वर्जन इज हैविंग सम बग्स, कोई इशू आया, मतलब लेटर वी गॉट टू नो कि यार ये वाले वर्जन में कुछ इश्यूज आ रहे हैं. तो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल से कि मेरे पास जो ये वाला वर्जन था 1.0.0 वाला, वो स्टेबल था, उसमें कुछ इश्यूज नहीं थे. व्हाट आई विल डू, आई इमीडिएटली आई रोल बैक दिस वर्जन टू दिस वर्जन. करेक्ट? तो Git क्या करता है? What Git is, so we have control over our versions, different versions, whatever you are going to do, you are going to code, उसका control आपके पास रहेगा. तो you are going to have those packages with you. अब ये packages या फिर ये भी जो code base है पूरा, this is package is nothing but a code base. Package मतलब आपका जो application है APK, that's nothing but a package. और package क्या है? Package is a compressed version of code. ठीक है, तो आपका कोड बेस जो है, जहां पे आपका पूरा कोड लिखा हुआ है, wherever your code is written, कोड बेस, that will be stored somewhere. कहीं स्टोर होगा, ये कहीं स्टोर होगा. अब because we are now into cloud, so we don't store it in our local storage, मतलब आपके सिस्टम में we are not going to store. So ये स्टोर कहाँ होगा? This will be stored in some repository. कहीं पे repository मतलब एक फाइल स्ट्रक्चर है, क्लाउड स्ट्रक्चर है, जहां पे we are going to store this code base, right? तो this repository is known as GitHub, जहां पे Git basically gives you one space where you are going to store your code base. Clear इतना? Rohan, any doubt? I can see. Fine, Ranjit. I'll do that. Fine. ठीक है, fine, Jagdish. So what I'm saying is, so basically, whenever you're going to have your code written, that should be stored somewhere. That place wherever you're going to store that code is known as repository. And there are different types of tools, which not tools, basically products which helps us storing this code base. So one is GitHub. We have similar kind of GitHub. We have similar to this is Bitbucket. These are nothing but GitHubs. These are nothing but repositories where you're going to store your code base. Okay? Is it clear like what exactly Git is? Git is nothing but a tool or framework which helps us for version control. What exactly it is, we are going to understand. But basic is the basic clear to you? Like what exactly it is? It's nothing but a framework or tool which helps us for doing a version control. Okay? And now what exactly GitHub is? A place where you're going to store your GitHub. You're going to store your code base. That is known as repository. Guys, so far so good. Difference between Git and GitHub. If even if you understand 10%, that's fine. We are going to cover everything. At least 10% if you're understanding, then that's fine. Guys, is it clear? See, Q&A would be difficult. You can raise your hand if it's clear for you. Quickly raise your hands. I can see 5, 6, 7, 10. All right, all right. Difference between Git and GitHub. Git is what? It's a tool of a framework which helps us doing version control. What is GitHub? A place where you're going to store your code. Right? Take care. Perfect. Now let's understand why we need this thing, right? Okay. Now let's understand why do we need this thing, or why this GitHub or Git was introduced for coders or developers, right? So let's take an example. Let's say कि I am going to develop one project, probably one application called calculator. Okay. So now what I'll do, see, now so initially if I am the only person working, there's only in our team, this is our team, okay? In one project, in my team, there's only one person who is going to develop, which is me, developer. Okay? We just have one developer. So he's aware what things he need to do. So if I say calculator, what things will come in calculator? One code will come, or particularly one method will come, which will do addition. Job of this particular code is whenever I'm going to give this particular method two numbers, probably a and b. So what its job is to add these two numbers, a plus b, and give us result of a plus b, right? So this is the one method I'm going to write. I'll probably have in calculator, probably have one more multiplication, probably multiply. This method is different code, which is going to give what? This is going to give a result of a into b, right? Tisra, we have one more method, probably division. It's going to give results of a by b. And fourth is addition, subtraction, which is going to give result of a minus b, right? So if I am the only developer who is going to work on this project, then that's perfectly fine. I'll have everything in my local repository. When I say local repository, it means in my local system. It's not there in cloud. When I say local repository, it's in my local system. It will be in your computer, memory of computer, right? So now if I'm only one person working on this project, then that's fine. But now you consider we have like 4 people working on same project. Okay. Now when I say I have 4 people working on same project, get a new tab, right? So now we are a team of 4 now. A, B, C, and D. So job of A is to write code where he is going to have addition of 2 numbers. Job of B is to write a code where he is going to have subtraction of 2 numbers. Job of C, these are team, okay? In one team, we are going to have these members, A, B, C, D. Job of D is this job is to multiply, his job is to divide. Okay? Just a minute. Right. So now we are a team of 4. Everyone is having individual job. Nowhere they are going to interact with each other. They are going to independently work at their home. So probably they are working at their home. This person is doing his job. This is doing his job. This is doing his job, and this is doing his job. So now when I combine all of them, see, if I say this is the only project, it cannot be a project of calculator. It's a project of addition of 2 numbers. This will be individually. Any one of the job is not exactly the project what we want. Combination of all of them is exactly what project we are working on, right? Calculator. So this everything should be combined so that I can say this project is completed, right? So now if we are working at same place, probably we can do that copy paste. We can copy this code, add it in. So now what A will do? A will write code of A will write a addition of code. Then he'll give this code. Then what he'll do? He'll give this code to B person. Now what B will have? B will have addition code as well, and and he's going to write his subtraction method. So B is going to have two both the methods. By the time C is idle, C will say ki I'll write code only when I'm going to have these two methods with him. So once A is complete, B is complete, B has done his job. So what these will do, what B will do, what C will do, C will copy entire code of B and get it in his local system, so that C will have what A, which was written by addition, which was written by a person A, subtraction, which was written by person B, and then he'll write his code for multiplication. Now what D will say, D will say, I want all the code, then I'll start my project. So what C has to do, C has to write his code first. Then what D will do, D will copy entire code, get it in his system, local system, A, subtraction, multiplication, and then he'll write division. Correct? So what these guys will have to do is, these guys will have to manually copy the entire code, give it to person B. From person A, it will go to person B. Person B will have addition and subtraction. Entire two things will be with, then will be copied to C local system, and then C will work, and this entire code will be with D. And then all three are there, and D will complete the project with division as his method. And once D has completed, this will be this will be called as completed, or this will be project what we exactly wanted, calculator. Correct? And now don't you think this is a tedious task? So if we are not at same place, we are living different cities. Now what you can say is, you will say what I'll do, I'll mail the code, I'll mail this particular code to person B, person B will mail that code to person C, and four more like D or whatever are there. So now consider, we are talking about small case scale, right? यहाँ पे we are going to have only small scale where A plus B plus C plus D, or basically 4 people are working. There's a team of 10 people, and they are not like, the code is not so simple. It's not like one page code or like 100 lines of code. Code will be like 100k lines of code, like thousands of lines of code will be there for one particular project. So don't you think zipping entire code, sending it by email, then again someone will copy that, keep it in his IntelliJ or some whatever ID he's working on, and then write his code, will be tedious task, right? So that's the reason why people has developed, or basically developer has used this Git repository. So what people will do now? What people will do? We have one remote repository. Remote repository matlab, whenever I say remote repository, this is somewhere in cloud. Let me use cloud symbol for that. So whenever I say remote, the data storage or repository will be in cloud. This is remote repository. Okay. So what I'll do, I have four people in my team, A, B, C, and D. So I'll give access to this repository to everyone. Okay, you guys can access this. I'll create one repository. I'll give access to everyone, like whatever people are there in my team, I'll give access to those guys. Right? So now what A will do? What I'll do, A will write his code of addition and push his code to this repository. When I say push, it's nothing but he is copying whatever there in his local. See, this is in local repository. When I say local, what it means, it's in his system, right? So when I say local, in his local, whatever code he has written, he'll push this code to cloud. Repository means a center place where everyone is going to interact, and from where everyone is going to copy that code. So when I'm saying push, he's not doing nothing but he is basically pasting his code to repository, cloud repository. Cloud and remote, it's one and the same. So now what B will do? Now B has access. So whenever A has done his part, he has pushed his code. Now this particular addition code is there in repository, cloud repository. So what B will do? B will copy this. B will do what? B will copy this code in his local In his local, he'll copy. So now he has this addition code. On top of that, he'll write his subtraction code. Once this is done, he'll again do what? He'll again do what? Quickly in Q&A. Guys, quickly in Q&A. What B will do? B will push that code again to repository, right? They say A has pushed his code. Similar way, B will also push his code. Guys, following? Acha, till now, any doubts till here? Acha, okay, you have already responded with push. Okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Push his changes, right? No doubts, no doubts. All four, yeah, yeah. Jagdish, all four will push, but we are going step by step. Like we'll go with waterfall, then we'll see how it works. B will also push his code with A and plus and minus. Correct, perfect, perfect. Right. Avinash, B will also push his perfect, right? So now what C will do? Now tell me what C will do. What C will do? C has some capacity or he has some ability to no. See what C will do? C will not push. First, what is the first job of C? Right. What C will do? C will first copy. Now in cloud we have two things: addition and subtraction, right? Just a minute. Guys, can you see in chat I have written hi? See if you guys can write something in this chat box. All right, fine. So disable chat. All right, take it. No worries. We'll do it in Q&A. So what C will do? What is the first job of C? C is going to pull this entire code in his where local repository. When I say local, it's nothing but system ka memory, local repository, right? Now he has these two code with him, addition, subtraction, and what he'll do, he'll add his own code of multiplication. Again, he's going to push back to remote repository, push. What D will do? He's going to now cloud has what? Cloud is having one more multiplication. What D will do? D is going to pull this code. Pull is nothing but copying entire thing from cloud and keep it in your local. So what D will do? D will copy entire thing. Now D has plus, minus, subtraction, and now on top of this, he is going to have his division or division wala method. And then once everything is done, D will also parallelly push this code to cloud. Right? So now when I say everything is pushed to cloud, plus, minus, subtraction, and division, right? So everything is there at one place now. In cloud, everything is there at one place. A has also pushed his code. B has also pushed his code. Similarly, C and D. So can I say this entire thing is one project now? And it's not there in local, like it's not there in everyone's local. So if now see, I'm a person sitting in probably in some other country, and now I want this code. So I'll not ask this person A or person B, person C or person D. What I'll do, if I'm having access for this repository, I'll directly go to this repository and take a pull. When I say take a pull, I'll copy entire thing, whatever the repository, in my local repository. Guys, is this clear? Any doubts and basics of this? So basically, if I say again 20%, if you understood, then that's fine. Okay, whatever we have learned, pull, push, two commands, not commands as well, just keywords. Even if you're clear with keywords, then that's fine. Everyone has its own repo. Yeah. Anonymous. Yeah, guy, don't be anonymous, man. Don't be anonymous. You can ask your doubts directly. No one is going to judge you on any basic question as well. Difference between local and remote. Huh. Dude, so thing is, when I say local, right? If I open any one of the file, see if I open this is nothing but these codes, these whatever code are there, right? Annotation, e-commerce app, or H2, whatever these things are there. These are nothing but these are stored in my local, मतलब मेरे system में. And if I say remote is nothing but if I go to Git in. So now, just a minute. So now if whatever you are seeing here, right, this repositories, whatever repositories you are seeing here, these are nothing but remote repository because these things are there where in cloud. See, same code. If you see this annotation, it's same thing, whatever I am having in my local. So this is nothing but local, and whatever you're going to see here is nothing but remote. Am I clear now? Atuf, if I'm saying it right. Do we need to create repository for every project separately? Rahul, that's the thing. So repository is nothing but a project. So every different project will have different repositories. Remote can be accessed by everyone. Remote can be accessed by everyone. So it depends how you're going to create your repository. If you're making it private, so you need to give access to those who want to access. If you are making it public, you are going to everyone can access it. Well, we'll see that. We'll see that practical. Or there is common repository in group. Viraj's thing is, so if everyone is working on one particular project, then there will be one master repository from which everyone is going to take pool of that master repository. So it will be common repository for those who are working on same project. How to create branch location, we'll discuss that. Yogesh, Git and GitHub ka difference just now we discussed. Just to revise, Git is nothing but a tool which will help us for doing a version control, for doing commit, for pushing code or pulling it. GitHub is nothing but a repository or a place where you're going to store your code. So if I say this is nothing but a repository. Similar to this, we have something called Bitbucket as well. Bitbucket. So these are different companies who have developed this. This is developed by Atlassian, Bitbucket, and Git is again owner of GitHub itself, GitHub. Our system is our local repository, GitHub repository is remote repository. Perfect, right, Vikrant? 4-member push code at same time. That can be also done. 4 members push at a time. That will also do. Okay. Copy plus and minus. What is this? Anisha, I did not get this. Anisha, that's the thing. So basically, what B will do, B has two codes like plus and minus. So he'll the B person will parallelly, like he'll have a addition and subtraction. So both he'll push at same time. GitHub code where there is a will recording will be available for this webinar. Ahmed, I don't have idea about it. You can check with. I'll confirm that. How to push code from VSID. We will discuss those things. We'll discuss. Everyone can do same thing. Everyone can pull and push at same time. So there's nothing about concurrency here. Everyone can pull and push at same time. So no one is bound. Let him finish, then I'll do that. So no one is bound on that. Okay, guys, if you're clear, then shall we go to practical now? I'll just give you a basic of it. Like I'll give you basic, but it will be easy for you to understand. So now let's understand how these Git thing work, right? So let me do one thing. Comment Geekster, right? Git session. Okay. So now see, okay, let me instead of Git session, let me change it to calculator. Okay. All right. So now let's understand this, right? So consider that this is the project what you are going to work on, and calculator is the main project. Like 4 people will be working on. So now I'll not. Okay, chalo, let's do one thing now. So what I'll do. So whenever you need to initialize something, right? Whenever you're going to initialize something for Git, there's one command called. So if you see this here, anything is there in this folder, nothing is there, right? So even if I do ls is nothing but a command which shows list of everything whatever there in my folder, right? So now let's understand this. Okay, let me go to commits. So if you see this, right, key added annotation, deleted pom, deleted target repository, or delete src, delete user service.java. So what you see, so these things are, so what it's done is I have committed something to my repository. I have kept on adding something to my repository. Which repository? Annotation repository, right? So in annotation repository, I've kept on adding few things. And how I'm going to get list of them. So see how it happens is, if like 4 people working on same project, A has done some changes, B has done, C has done, D has done. Now after some time, now with addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, now probably I'm going to add one more feature called mod. I'm going to have one more feature in my calculator called mod of something. So what person B will do, B is going to again do those changes in that project, and he's going to push his code. So I should have list of everything, or history of everything, who has done what and at what time. So first A has pushed his code, then B has pushed his code, C has pushed his code, and D has pushed his code, right? So I should have list of everything or history of everything who has contributed to this repository. When I say contributed, it means who have worked on that repository, who has done some changes and pushed their code to that repository. So that now why do we do this is one more reason. So if something goes wrong, right, in production, if there's some piece of code which is actually there's a bug in that code, now I need to retrieve who has done these changes, correct? So I should find out who is the person who has done those changes, because of which the bug has introduced to the production, and probably there might be a huge loss, right? So if in finance or some other fintech company, wherever if I say like password is not required for sending money. So if I write code, if password is correct, then only proceed to transaction. But what if I remove that if condition, if password, if original password equals to password which I have written now, if that condition if I removed, which is a great violation, right? So fintech company will get in loss. So I should also know who has done this commit. So I have list of or history of everything who has done this commit, what line of code he has committed, and when he has committed. So that's where we have history of every commits. So if you see this commits, so what it says, Akshay Limay has committed on February 24. Now what he has committed, we have some commit ID. So it shows he has removed this thing, and he has, so when I say minus minus, which means removed, and plus plus, which means added, right? From here to here. If I go to added to do application, if I see this particular thing, so what it says, we have added few lines of code. So when I say plus 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 is nothing but adding few lines of code, right? So that's how we maintain history of everything, who has done what changes at what time and what are the changes he has done, right? So we need to maintain this, correct? So we need to maintain this. How we are going to maintain this is, we don't need to worry about it. Who maintains this for us is Git. That's the another purpose why we use Git. Guys, is this clear? Okay, I have good knowledge of things, bash, everything. I just want to have grind and remember everything. But if you want to be equal to Code Ninja or platform, prepare yourself before webinar. Most of them are known for beginners, so you should give knowledge from scratch. Just a feedback for you, man. Manan, what exactly you're facing? And let me understand that. Manan Arora. I have a doubt related to project. One local reference, can you store that code in GitHub? Can we get recording of this video? Manan, can you ping me personally or something? Acha, let me do one more thing. All right. So if you are good with this, we'll just proceed then. So basic clear hai ki how what is Git, what how we are going to do with this Git. So let's understand how you are going to download the Git. Basic, go to Chrome or something, Git download. So these are the basically different OS what you can download Git for, Mac OS, Windows or Linux. Go to Mac OS or whatever you want, and okay, let me go to Windows as well. So you just need to download this standalone installer, and it basic it's a basic. You need to proceed. It will ask you to add some variables to path variable, add those, and you will be done with that. Basic installation, you can check it, and it will be very easy. Like there's no rocket science in that. Suppose C pushes with modified code, does remote repo overrides the existing code? Please clear this. Parimal will do that. We'll see that. We'll see those things. All right. So let's proceed now. Now what I'll do, so if now we understood, like we need to have this history of everything where I need to maintain these things. So who does this for us is Git, right? So we need to tell, like we need to tell GitHub, Git repository, Git that you need to monitor this particular folder. So how do I do that is, first command is git init. So when I say git init, what it says, initialize some empty Git repository in whatever folder we are there. It initializes a empty repository there. right? It initializes empty repository. But now if you still see, right, if you still see, it says we have introduced a initialized empty repository, but if you still see, there's nothing here. But because we cannot see, if I do ls, okay, sorry, session. Okay. So if I do ls here, you still cannot see anything. Why? Because this particular folder is hidden. Now if I do if you want to see hidden folders, right? Okay. Right. So if you see this one folder called .git, which will be hidden here. Let me see. Right. So now this is a hidden folder which Git creates for us, which will be hidden. You will have to unhide that particular folder so that you can see what few things are there. Now if I go inside folder, right, you have few more things like called description, config, hooks, head, references. We'll deep dive into each and every those things. Right. So now let's take example. Now what I'll do, I'll create one file here. So if I say touch addition.txt, right? So I have added one file, addition.txt. Now it's empty, nothing is there. So do you think there's a change in a repository? So now what is a repository? A repository is calculator, but it's still in my local. We have not still connected it with my remote repository, correct? It's still there in my local. So now do you think there's a change in my project? What is my project? Calculator. Do you think there's a change in my project? Oh, you want to scale up the command prompt? Okay. Is it fine now? Rajkumar. Gayatri, yeah, it's essential to have Git installed in your system. All right. So what? Yeah. Tell me this thing first. Do you think there's a change in our project? Kuch change hua hai? Yes. What is the change? We have introduced one file called addition.txt. Correct. Now, how do we know that? Key, there's some changes happened in my project. So command is git status. Now it says there's some untracked file. Matlab, basically what it says is there are some changes. There are some changes happened. So it says there's one new file addition.txt. Correct? Can you see that everything in red? Addition.txt. This is a random file which Mac creates, I guess. rf.ts. Right. So there's one file which we have added, which is addition.txt. So how things work, right? So let me go back to Notepad again. Right. So this is your local repository. This is your local repo. Initially, everything is empty. What we have done is we have initialized this repository with git init. Git init. What git init will do? What git init will do? What git init will do? It will basically create new folder or basically create a hidden folder .git, right? Which tracks everything. The thing what we saw here, right? These commits, whatever we saw, this thing is tracked by .git folder. Git folder has few more things which are head config, these things. So this is going to basically have track of whatever changes we are going to do with this repository, calculator repository. This track is being done by .git folder. How do we get git folder? Which command? Git init. Initialize, perfect. Initialize the empty repository, badhiya. Where are you running the git init command? Ashwini, I'm running this in terminal. So if you go to your folder or repository, whatever you created, right click on that and you can open command prompt for Windows. You can open command prompt. Once you have installed Git, then you can do these things. Before Git, you will not get it. The command that we are using shell scripting in Linux for Git 2. As I'm seeing the commands you are giving terminal so that I had. Are we using the commands that we use in shell scripting in Linux for Git too? Weber, I did not get your point. So how to use this command in Windows? Same, Rega. It will be same. Whatever commands are there, right? Whatever commands we are using, git init or git or status, all commands are same. Windows, Linux, or OS or Mac OS. Okay. So what initially we did? We initially did a created a folder, local repository, a local folder. We have initialized an empty repository in my in that particular folder where I'm going to write code, right? So once I've initialized, what it will do, it will create one folder called .git where it's going to track everything, track every commits, what we are going to do, right? So now, once we have, now what we have done is we have basically added one file, addition.txt. Or let me do one thing. Let me move it to bin, clear this. Okay. So now what we have done is let's go back to basic again. Just I have just what I've done. I have just created a calculator folder, initialize the git init in it, and now if I see git status, like what is the current status? What is the current status? There are no commits on track file. Let me remove this. This is actually a useless file which gets created every time. Right. So if I see git status, nothing to commit. There are no changes done as of now. After initializing repository, there are no changes done to that folder. That's why it says nothing to commit. Now what I'll do, I'll create one folder here or one file, right? So now what we have done is we have created a new file called addition.txt. Now again, I'll do same thing. I'll just take status. What is the current status of my repository? So what it says, commits are not done till now, but there's one file which is not tracked by Git. There's new, we have introduced one file which is addition.txt, but it is not tracked by Git till now. So when I say untracked, which means we have to, so what happens is two files are there, right? So if I say I have two files called addition.txt and multiply.txt. Two files I have created. Now, if I say you need to track this file, when I say to git, you need to track this file. So when I say to git track this file, what happens is whenever new changes are done for this particular file, Git will tell this file has been modified. Whenever you're going to do some changes to this file and you check the git status, it says it will be modified. But if I don't say track this multiplication.txt file, it will not track. It will just say it's untracked. But even if you do some changes to this file, it will not show like modifications are being done, right? Let me just get to Q&A. Vishwa.get file automatically gets added whenever you do which command? Git init. After git init, the respective folder also affected in remote. No, Rajkumar, see, everything is still there in my local. We have not introduced repository or remote repository till now. So everything is in local now. Pratik, ls command is just to get list of everything, whatever there in my current folder. The way you see this, right? So if you're seeing addition.txt and if I do ls here, it will show what files are there in current repository, like addition.txt is there. About shell scripting, I don't have idea, so I cannot answer that. Probably you can give a try, then it will be easy for you. After getting in the respective folders or remote, no, is command ls command is fine. All commands are done by yeah, everything will be done in command prompt. Touch command is not applicable for Windows. Touch command I have used just to create file. Text file create करने के लिए I have used touch and space whatever file name I need to use. You can in Windows you can directly do this. Right click and new file and do those things you can do. Lecture recording will see that. Pratik, you don't need to worry about command to create new file. Windows, you can directly do that. If you are in Mac OS, then use touch space, whatever file name is there, .txt or whatever you can do it. How to track addition.txt, I'll show you that. Where is the new folder created after git init? New folder will not be created. Can you use git bash instead of cmd? We can use git bash as well, but I have basically set the path variables, those things in my command prompt, so I use command prompt. You can use git bash as well, guys. Git bash is nothing but a CLI tool which git gives you to again do same, perform same action, same commands. All right, so I'll just show you that thing, tracking thing, right? So if now what we have done, we have added one file called addition.txt. Let me do git status. It says untracked file addition.txt. Let me do one thing. Let me do what? Let me create one more file. Touch touch sub.txt. Right? Two files are created. Now if I every time see that, always remember this command git status. So what it does is it gives current status of my local repository. Command is very important. At any point of time, if you want to see at what stage I am, use this command git status, git status. It shows everything. What it says, still now we have two untracked file, addition.txt and sub.txt. Correct? Initially we were having only one file, addition.txt. Now because we have added one more file, sub.txt, it's there in my sub.txt. Guys, so far so good. Let me raise one poll. Somehow I'm not able to raise the poll. Just a minute. Parallel, you can ask your questions if you have in Q&A. Romil, I can show you Git branch as well, but we are not connected to repository, right? So it won't make any sense right now. For Windows, you can use same command touch. Oh, okay. Then that's fine. If you are able to use touch command for Windows, then that's good. HTML CSS file. Tell me how can push. I'll show you, Jagdish. Hold on. Vishwa dot git command कैसे आता है? You need to use git init as a command for new folder, whatever you're going to create. It will create .git folder for you. Gopeswara, you don't need to use command for creating file in Windows. You can directly do it using right click. It is said on branch main, so how to change that branch? Come here, we'll discuss that. Hold on. Okay. So now what we'll do? Check status, git status. We have two untracked file, addition.txt, subtraction.txt, right? What I'll do, I'll just ask git to track only one file, which is addition.txt. So how do I do that? How I tell git to track file? Command is git add, right? Write the name of file, addition.txt. So when I say git add, what git will do? Git will know like he has to track the file, whatever I'm going to mention, addition.txt. Press enter, check status. Now what it understands is there's one file, addition.txt, which is added to, if you see this, changes are there, but to be committed. We have not committed that changes yet, right? And there's one more file untracked, which is not tracked by anyone, correct? Git is not going to track this file. How these stages are, right? Let me give you example. So first, create new file, which is first place. What is the status of this file? If I create new file, what is the status of it? Untracked, guys, right? Initial state untracked. Once I have now, what is the command I need to give so that Git should track it? Git add and that file name, whatever file name you want to do. Now, after adding, what will be the status of this file is tracked but not committed. Correct? If you see status, changes to be committed. We are yet to commit these changes, but new file is introduced, which is being tracked by Git, this file is not being tracked because we have not used the command git add for this particular file. Guys, are you clear? So now if there are multiple files, right? Now we'll say if I have like multiple files, let's say let me create one more file till multiply.txt, right? Now if you have like 10 number of 10 files with you, right? So do you think we should manually do git add file name, manually git add file name, git add file name to individual 10 files? No, right? Hectic task hai wo. So what Git has given is Git has given us one more command or same command basically. Let's take status first. status two files untracked. Now I'll not do like git add multiply.txt and then again git add multi sub.txt. What I'll do, git add space dot. Now what dot will do? It will add all the files whatever are not being tracked to git to track it. So if I do this git add space dot, enter. Now if I again take the status, can you see all the files are in green now? I have not individually added these files. Git add, right? Yes, just wanted to check what it gives by default. It would be main or local. It won't read or anything simply because we have not. Okay. Let me show you that. Are we connected to any? Romil, are we connected to any repository right now? So by default, we have not linked any remote repository, right? So it will not give you anything. Again, coming back. So if you want to add multiple files at same time, what is the command? Git add dot. What this will do, it will add or it will ask Git to track all the files which are not been tracked. Correct? Not being tracked. Easier? guys, any doubts? Guys, easier? Any doubts still here? Quickly, if you have any doubts, you can ask in Q&A. Git add dot repeat. ठीक है. Akanksha, see, thing is, no doubts. Akanksha, see, now what we did is we have individually added files, right? Git add space and file name dot txt. Now consider if you have like hundreds, like 100 files which are there in my folder. So I should not individually do that. I should not individually say git add file name, git again add file name. So if you have to do the number of times, like 100 times you have to do based on how many files you have. So instead what you can do is git add dot. This will add all the files, whatever files are there, it will add everything at once. Am I clear, Akansha, now? Akanksha, is this fine now? Tracked but not committed means no changes has been done in existing files. I'll show you that. Suppose I have 10 files and want to add only 7 at time. What then, Shubham, you'll have to individually do that. Like 7, you have to write names of those 7 files and then add those files. Srivedya, you give a try. Git add. You have to git add space dot is there. So make sure you don't miss that dot. This dot. Oh, that might be the reason it's not working. Okay, so all files added means one line git add space dot. Perfect. Yeah, right, Akansha. So now let's understand again now. Let me go back. So what we have done is we have so we have let's check status again, git status. 3 files are there, new files now which are being tracked, right? Now let's do one thing. Let's modify this file, right? Let me open this. I'll say this code is for this. This is dummy thing what I'm writing, but we are going to write code there. This code is for addition of 2 numbers. Okay, I have just written one line of code. Code is for addition of 2 numbers. I'm going to save it. Once saved, I'll close it. I'll check status now. See what it says. We have added 3 files, but 1 file is modified because we have done some changes to this file, right? So it says this file is modified. Now again, do I need to see how the stages are? in tract, right? In tract, we have now addition, subtraction, and multiplication. But now in untracked thing, untracked, not untracked basically, it will not say untracked, but the stage is tracked itself, but we have not added it. What is that added thing? We have done changes for addition, right? But we have not, it says this file is modified. Now if I want to, if I want to add these changes again to my stage, so there's something called in between, there's something called stage. From here we are going to commit it. So these three things are there in my stage state, but these changes, new modified changes, are not there in here. Why? How we move these modified changes is again git add. What this will do? This will add, or this is going to push the changes or modified changes to stage state. So there's some state called staged, 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 right? So if I give you easy way, so initial state is untracked. Let me check, use red mark. This is untracked, and probably then it goes to staged, and here somewhere it's tracked. Okay, we have created one file, addition. What I'll do, how we are going to move this addition to staged? What is the command? Git add file name, right? Once I use this command, what happens is this will be removed from untracked. It will be there in tracked as well. It will be there in staged as well, right? And you have created one more file called multiply. Done some change, added new file. Again, git add, you have use command for this particular file. It will go to staged multiply. Now what you have done is you have done changes to one file called addition, right? So at this point of time, whenever you have done git add, at this point of time it was empty. This was empty. Now at this point, whenever it's empty, you have done some changes. Now you have done some changes to this file called addition file. Now after this changes, it won't go directly to staged. It will be still tracked. It will be in stage called tracked, but it won't be there in stage. Now how it will go in stage is command for that, git add, right? Guys, are you with me? Guys, are you with me? So whenever I'm saying git add, it will move those files to a stage state. This one state called stage, it will be moved to state. Purpose of tracking and tracked and untracked is nothing but to let Git know, we are if to let Git know that you have to track this file. If I am doing some changes for this addition file, you should tell me that changes have been done, modified. If I'm not going to track any file, even if I do changes there in that file, Git will not tell us. We'll just see practical of that. So what I'll do, I'll create one more file called div.txt. Right now, let's take status as well. What it says, these three are there in stage state, which has not committed yet. See, changes are not in staged for commit. Stage, so this is not there in stage state, which means these things are there in stage state, which can be committed. And what this particular stage is having, what do you think? What is there in this? Whatever we have written, right? Whatever we have written in my addition.txt file, these things, correct? But it's not there in my, if I commit this code, this particular changes won't be there in my repository. Why? Because we have not added this particular thing to the stage state. How do we add it is git add and the file name. Now we have one more file called div.txt, which is not been tracked, right? Let me do one thing. Let me push this code to my stage state. How do I do that? Git add. Now because I don't want to track div.txt, what I'll do, I'll only add this particular file. Correct? Guys, getting it? 84 replied, 8 have doubts. Difference between track and stage. Prithvi, that's what I'm saying. Track is just to tell Git you need to track this file. And stage is nothing but from that stage, we are going to commit that or push that code to cloud. Guys, am I clear now? So now let's understand. Now we have added this file. Now do you think this will come? Modified addition.txt. How do we find it? Git status. Every time check status. So what it says, new file, new file, new file, but this is still not tracked. Now what we'll do some changes in this file. This is changes, some changes done or something like that. Okay. Let me save this. See, I have written something here. I have saved it, closed it as well. Now let me check status again. So even if I'm checking status, is it showing like modified the way it showed for addition.txt? No, right? Even if I'm changing something, even if I'm changing anything in my code, if I'm writing this, if I'm writing this, if I'm writing this, saving it, still whenever I'm going to check status of it, it's still showing the same thing. Untracked file dev.txt, and these are the files which are there in my stage. Now if I do some changes for my addition, added new line, saved it, closed it. Now let me check status again. So what it says modified this file, but it did not say modified for div.txt. Why? Because we are not asking Git to track it. We have only asked addition.txt. We have only asked Git to track which file? Addition.txt. Now is it clear? Track, purpose of track. What command? What the command to get file tracked? What confusing between untrack and stage and tracked? All right. Let me explain you again. So first thing, whatever files you need to ask Git to track. When I say track, it's going to every time it's going to look at, see, this is a file. Git is going to continuously look at this particular file. If there are any changes done to this file, if any of the small changes there, if small change, even if small change is there, it will immediately tell you this file is modified. Okay, that means we are asking Git to monitor that file. And how do I do that is git add. Whenever I'm doing git add, it moves that particular file from untracked. Whenever I'm going to do git add, it's going to move this particular file from untracked, and this is going to say git add to track this particular file, and move it to staged. Right? Untracked and tracked. Git add is going to do what? Two things. Git add is going to track that file as well as is going to move that file to staged. Is it clear now? Guys, is this clear? Right, yes or no in Q&A. Clear. So whenever I'm saying untracked, so now what track means? Whenever I'm saying git to track it, if I'm doing a small change and I check the status the way we have done for addition.txt, if I'm checking status, it says this file is modified. But even if we are doing some changes to div.txt, it's not asking, it's not telling us like that particular file is modified. It's just saying this file is untracked. That's it. So that we should understand, this particular file is tracked or not. Or if someone has done some changes, we should know like there's some changes done in addition.txt, because I don't want to track this file. This is probably a dummy file which I have created for my own purpose. I don't want to commit that particular file, so I'll keep it in untracked version itself. Keep it in my local. I'll not move it to Git or remote. Am I clear now, guys? Let's go ahead. Any doubts still here? Okay, let me write commands. Let me know what doubts you have in any of the command. What is the purpose of git init? And once git init, we have git every time check status. After init, every time, anytime. Then git add dot and file name or file name basically. These three commands we have learned. Any doubts in this? Basic three commands. Guys, I guess any doubts? Quickly ask in Q&A. Vishwa, yeah. Vishwa, can you explain what is your doubt in git init? uh, Git init is basically to initialize an empty repository and to track everything. So whenever I'm going to create this project, right? If I create this Git calculator, I'll do right click. I'll say I'll go to my command prompt. I'll just place a command called git init. What it will do, it will initialize an empty repository for us so that whatever changes I'm going to do in this particular folder, Git will tell us like these are the changes done. That's it. Git init. There is one file which I don't want to track, but there are other files which I want to track, but git add will track all the files. How to avoid that one file? Git ignore. So there's something called git ignore. Uh, okay, let me explain that as well. So what you can do is you can the way we have this dot git, right? There's one more folder called you can create one more folder called dot git ignore. Similar to dot git folder which got created, there's one more folder called git ignore. They need to mention which files you don't want to track. You just need to give the file names there. File names in git ignore file. Then it will not track those files. It will be ignored. So it will not show in git status as well. Whatever files you need to ignore, you can add those files in git ignore. Right? The way we are having git.git, right? .git. Similar to that, we have .git ignore. We can create that file and place file names there. Can you please repeat the modified file and how it should act at to stage position? Is the new repository create .git file name is a new repository we create on GitHub .git file same. How can I delete the file from repo? Please tell a command that into exit from bin. Is it correct to that stage means we have updated the modification to source code to original code? Original code not, but in local, yeah. If it's in local, then it's original, yeah. And delete file from repo, we'll see that. Repeat the modified file and how I should act, how it should act to stage position. See guys, it's really very simple. Tracked means basically what we need to, when I say track, when I say git add, it's going to do two things. It's going to move that file to staged state, and it's going to tell git to track that file. If I don't use git add to any one of the file, it's going to simply ignore or it will not track that file. It will be in untracked state, track state. So whatever changes you're going to do in that file which is in untracked, Git will not notify you that like that particular file is modified. All right, guys, are we clear till here? Check status. So it says these things are there, 3 files, new files, right? One, this is modified and this is still not tracked. Now what I'll do, I'll again, okay, now let's do one thing, right? So now these things, everything is there in my local, right? Everything is there in my local repository. This is my local repository. And I should push this, right? I should push this to my cloud repository. This is my cloud repository, right? Now, how do we create cloud repository? It's really simple. Go to your GitHub. Okay. Go to your profile, create new repository. Now here you have two options. You can make it public or private. Public so that everyone can access it. Private is you can give access to those who want to access it. Make it public or whatever you want. Calculator. Calculator. Oh, sorry, description, right? Let me write repository name. Calculator project. Right, so I'm naming my repository as calculator project. So see, if you see here, add not readme git ignore, right? So there's one thing called add git ignore. So if you want files which should not be which git should not notify you, you can use this git add ignore, whatever you want. So basically, if you are based on whatever project you're working on, right? If I'm working on Java, then target folder will be there, which can be ignored. So as of now, I'm keeping it empty, none. So you can add this git ignore as well, right? So this is the name of repository, calculator project. Based on whatever description you want, like what this particular project will do, you're going to add this and make it like what visibility of this repository, public or private. If you want to make it private, you're going to get some link, then you can share it with those who you want to give access. Public will be available for everyone. If you want to add readme file to that particular thing, you can add readme file as well, right? Now let's create this project, create this repository. All right. So now what we have is we have this empty repository with us. Nothing is there. So now what you need to do, you have two things. Now you have one empty repository. You have an empty repository in your cloud, and you have some code in your local repository. Some code in your local repository. Now you need to push this code to this repository. Correct? That's the purpose. So if you want to push it, is there a command which we can opt out file? We can untrack it. I'll show you that. We can also untrack it. So if you see this, right? Git restore. So whatever file you want to untrack it, git restore, write the file name, sub.txt. It will not track then. It will come to untrack state. Can we include regex in git ignore? Regex is basically a regular expression. That's a I'm not sure you are aware about regex or not. So basically it's used for doing some filtering thing. So that cannot be in git ignore. That's a part of code. Git ignore is basically a file or folder which you want to ignore. After push the code, how the code we update the new code into same file located in, we will see that, Venkatesh. So please tell the command to exit from when is it correct that stage means updated file? Okay, fine. We are good. So now we need to somehow, if I want to push this code to my cloud repository, somewhere I need to link it. Correct? I'll have to tell this particular local repository that you have to push this code to this remote. So somewhere I have to link it. Correct? I have to link these two things, local and remote. So how do we do that? There's an again command for that. Git remote add. Git remote, right? Add. So when I say remote, nothing but we need, so what, again take literal meaning. Git is a keyword which you use for doing git commands. Remote, when I say remote, which means cloud ka some remote is something in cloud which you need to add to some branch called origin. So this is nothing a branch name. Whatever you're going to have head, that is a name. You can give anything, but with naming conventions we use origin there. Git remote add origin and then your remote link. So if you see here, right, it says git remote is nothing but cloud. Add what you want to add. You want to add this remote repository, and what you need to add is this. This is what you need to add, right? So copy this entire command. See, if you see this, right, it's nothing but entire thing. Your URL, project URL. So if I copy this and give it to you, even if I open it in incognito mode, it will redirect me to this repository, calculator repository, right? It's a URL to your repository. And if you see this is a main command, git remote add, and this is a URL to your remote repository. So you are saying, you are asking my local system for this particular project, to link this particular thing with this URL. Is this clear? Git remote add origin. Guys, let's do that. Or before that, let me show you one thing. So if as of now, anything is linked with my local. Any remote repository is linked with my local. Yes or no? No, right? So how do we see that? Let's say git remote -v. Do you see anything? If I use this command git remote -v, nothing is there, right? So now how do we do that? Git remote add origin, and what is a URL for my repository? This was a URL. Copy this URL. You will also get it from here. Copy this, paste it here, enter. Now if I again use the git command, git remote -v. Now can you see two things are there? Basically fetch and push. I'll show you what is fetch and push. So now if I again hit this command git remote -v. Now can you see that particular calculator is linked with this particular thing now, guys? Guys, am I clear? Or are you getting like 40-50%? Based on this command. Why we use this command git remote add origin to link my local repository to the repository where we need to push our code. So what is the command? Git is a command which we use for doing git operations. Why remote? Because it's not in my local, it's a remote which we need to add. And what operation we need to do? We need to add that particular repository. And origin is a naming convention what we follow. And where? To this particular URL. hyphen is a version. Like we need to say ki which remote version we are pointed to. Git remote hyphen v. So basically, you can add multiple remote repositories to this. The way we have added this, right? Git remote add origin. So you can also add one more thing. Git remote add some other name upstream or something, and then you can add that particular thing. And then so you are going to have different remote versions. So it will. This is nothing but a version. Remote hyphen v. Where is the local files added? Where are the local files added? Locals are still in my local. I have not added it till now. Okay. So now what we have done? What was our next step? We have done what? We have linked. This is my local, right? What we have done is and this is my cloud or remote repo. So what we have done is we have linked these two, local and remote. So whatever changes I'm going to do, if I push it, it will go to this repository. Am I clear? Is it clear till here? Any doubts? Pratik, hyphen v is nothing but a version what we are seeing. So see, the remote repository, right? This is a remote repository. Just a minute, remote. So, sorry. Remote hyphen v. So this is a remote repository which we are linked to. So we can have multiple repositories which can link to in remote. So it will show you like what is the version currently to which particular remote we are connected to. So it will show you this. Hyphen v is just a command. कुछ नहीं वो version है वो. Full form is version. Remote hyphen v. All right. How can we get to know about a GitHub link to a local? Uh, Shakti, this is the command what you can use. Check this. If you are going to get some response with this command, because if you remember, like last time when we did before linking it, we were just getting empty. So whenever I was using this, we were again coming back to this particular command. We were not able to see these things, right? Which means we are not linked it. So whenever I'm going to link it, if I want to see it's linked or not, just use git remote hyphen v. It will show you it's linked to which repository. Changes in local repository made in remote. Changes will be there. So we need to push those changes. Those changes are now in my local. I need to push these changes to my remote so that it will go there. Rajkumar, you can also unset that this particular remote. So you can unset this particular repository if you want. The way we have set it, right? Git remote add origin and then repository name. You can also unset with same command. Not same. Some change will be there in that command, but it won't be a big deal. Right? Okay, now let's understand again. So what we have done right now, we have linked our local to my remote. But still, if I see, is there anything in my remote? So have we pushed our code to remote? Is it still empty? Correct? Everything is empty. Nothing is there. So we need to push this code, right? So what we have done now is we have just linked it. What I've done is I have linked my local repository to my cloud or remote repo. So I have just linked this, but code is still there in my local. I have not committed or I have not pushed that code. Because I have not pushed, it's still not there in my remote repo. It's still empty. Correct? Now we'll see how we are going to push it. So all right, let's revise some few things. Git init. Basic command which you need to use every time is git status, which gives us current status of everything, like at what stage we are. Git add. What this will do? This will push to state and ask Git to track the file. Now there's one more command called git commit. Git commit. What this commit will do? Understand this. So if I showed you, right? Let me go back. All right. So if you see this, the name is commit, right? Commit is basically what I'm doing. for every new commit or every new change, I'm adding one message. Like this is the message. So if you see this message, added post. If I open this, so with this particular commit ID, for every commits, there will be different commit IDs. Let me show you where the commit is. So basically, see, this is a commit ID. This is small, but it's actually a big one. We can get the and say this is a commit ID. So this, with this particular commit ID, what a message I have written, I written added post. So I have written a code for posting some thing to my code, and I have pushed this code or committed this code. And with this message, like I have added the post, and for each commit, there will be a different IDs associated with that. So if you see this code, I have done some post thing, like I have written get post. Some code I have written in which I have done what? I have added that particular message, get add post, and I have committed that, right? So the command, how the command goes is git commit. We need to commit something. We are going to commit our files. We are going to commit those changes. Git commit -m, and what exactly you need to write here. Like what if you see there, what we have done is I have written added post. So what you can do here is git commit, and this is basically based on what you want to add. M is nothing but message. What message you want to pass while committing. So what I'll say added what addition.txt. This I'll have this message addition.txt. I have added this thing. So what I'll do now, let me show you this thing. Status right now. Git status, right? What is the status? New files are there. This file is modified. This file is untracked. But if you say this, changes to be committed. Changes are there, but these are not committed yet. And if you see this, changes are not staged for commit. This one stage, these are staged. These are there, but it's not. We have not done git add for this. If I do git add to addition.txt and I check the status again. Now, what do you think? How many messages we should get? We are going to get this, which is fine. Do you think we'll get this as well? In the command, the link is added, which local or remote. For every change, local repository, we should push it to remote. Yes, for every change, whatever we not necessary. If you want to push it, you can push it. No, we won't get that message. Correct. We won't get that message. Let's see now. Check it. So if I see status, we still have like 2 files. So now what it says, these changes are to be committed. We have not committed the changes. How do we commit is? Command is simple. Git commit -m. -m is for message. What message I need to pass? I'll say added few files. It depends on you. Whatever you want to add, you can add it. So now if I do this, what is the message we have got? This is a message what we have done. Added few files. 3 files changed because 3 files we have added. 3 insertions. Three insertions were. One is for addition.txt, one is for multiplication.txt, one is for sub.txt. Correct? So now we have moved from stage to committed state, right? From committed, every time whenever you are going to commit from committed stage, now we need to push it to now. Again, if I go to remote, right? If I go to remote, if I refresh the screen, still I should not see anything because we have not pushed the changes. Changes are yet to be pushed, right? All right. So how do we push it? Git push. Do you think this will work? Now I'll show you what exactly happens. It says upstream is not set. So I'll not set upstream. I'll directly do git push origin. See, okay, let me clear this and show you. Do you remember whenever we were going to, we have added that remote repository, what keyword we added? Git remote add origin. Origin was the keyword what we added, right? So we need to push our code to origin keyword. So it depends on you. If you want to see instead of this origin, you can write anything. You can write anything, but just to be just to follow the naming conventions, we use this origin, right? And whenever you are doing new change, right? Whenever you're going to do a new change, how things work is, go to new page. There's one branch called main branch. This is the main branch going on, right? So every time whenever you're going to push, you're not going to push at main branch. At first, whenever you have initialized your project, that time you're going to push to main. But after that, you're going to cut a branch from here, create your own branch, We'll discuss that as well. Create own branch, work on this branch, and then push it to main again. We'll discuss that. But as of now, just remember, whenever you're going to initialize whatever initialize you have done, you have to push it in main branch. So how commit git push command works is git push where you want to push origin, which branch you want to push, main branch. Enter. So what it will do something, some writing something, some it will do, and it will show you like basically you have pushed something to main branch, GitHub. So what it says, it has been pushed to this particular URL. Now if I go here, now if I refresh the page, you should see those files. Can you see these 3 files? So what is a commit? This was the file, added few files. This was the commit message we have given. But this particular, we have not given commit ID. Commit ID basically is what Git gives. So don't need to worry about it, commit ID. But these are the commits what we have done to which branch? Main branch, right? Main branch is there. So we have done some changes. We have added those to staged. From stage, we have moved it to committed state. And from committed state, we have pushed it to our GitHub repository, main repository, right? So now if I see the status, git status. On main, we are on main branch. This is still untracked. And because we have nothing, see, because we have nothing in my tracked or stage state, it says nothing added to commit, but untracked file present. Which is the untracked file? This is the untracked file present. Guys, are you clear how we are done this push? Guys, the main and master are same. No difference between main and master. We'll do it again. So basically what we have done now is, now another command what we have learned is, after git commit, what we'll do? Git push where we have pushed to origin, the name what we have given, and which branch? Main branch. These are the only commands what you are going to use. There are few more commands, git fetch, git pull, we'll discuss that as well. But as of now, these are the main thing what you want to learn. Now, what you can do, if you have system open in your in front of you, you can do one thing. Okay, let's learn one more command first, then you can do that. Okay. So now, see now now I have created some project, right? And you want to use this project. You want to copy this entire project to your local and then use it, right? So how you are going to do? See, there's a traditional way you can do it. You can download the zip and use it, but you don't want to do that. You want to follow the procedure so that if you are doing some changes, Git should be notified. So you can anyways do this. You can download the particular zip, unzip it, use it, or if you want to do changes, you can do, but Git won't track it. Now, if you want to Git to track it, copy this thing. So go here, code, copy this URL. It's nothing but the same URL, right? Copy this URL. And if you want, let me create one more folder, calculator, Akshay, clone, right? So what I'll do, I have copied entire thing, new terminal or basically new uh, command prompt, CMD. I want entire thing to now see, this thing is in local, this thing is repository. Now if I want this thing in my local, so what I'll do, two things. From here, I have pushed it to my remote, and now because I don't have a different system, what I'll do in my same system, I'll try to get clone of it. So what I'll do, I'll create new folder, whatever folder it is. I can also do this. I can also download the zip file, unzip it, and do it, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to go traditional way. So what I'll do is I'll use command git clone. What I want to clone, the thing what we have copied, URL from where we have to tell git copy from this particular URL. HTTPS, this particular URL, git clone, paste this thing, press enter. It says cloning calculator project. And once it is done, if you come here and open this, you should see calculator project and you should see these files. Is there any way to revert commit before and after push? Yeah, you can revert it. I'll show you that. When I try to commit shows authority identity unknown. Gopiswara authority identity unknown. Probably there's some issue related to personal access token. You just see that how it is. Fail to push. Chandu, can you give me entire error message so that I can help you? how to send entire folder that has a lot of folders and subfolder contain files in case you want to post whole. Karthik, the same thing. Okay, let me show you that as well. So now let me go to calculator. I'll create new folder here. I'll say src folder. In this folder, I'll create few more files, right? Let me open terminal here, right? I'll say touch1.txt, touch2.txt, touch3.txt, touch4.txt, 5.txt. Okay. So now what we have? We have one folder src in which we have 5 files, right? This still in there, but like these particular things are there in my remote, but these two things are not there. I don't want to track div. I'll track src. So what I'll do again, come back, remote, go to command prompt, increase the size, clear everything, check status. What is the current status? So it's let me remove this again. rm-rf dot t. Okay. Now status, it says 2 untracked files. Which are the files? This is the file .txt. But if you see src ke aage we have slash, which means this is not a file, this is a folder. So how do I track this as well? Git add src dot src, sorry, itna hi. So what it says now, if I do git status, it says these files are added to my tracking thing, and it's added to my staged, right? Coming back to question who asked me how to revert it, this is a command you can use, it git restore staged -- stage and the file name which you want to unstage. Git restore -- staged, because those are in staged, revert it to whatever files you want to revert it to unstage. Okay. So now what we have done, entire folder which is having n number of files, we have added to staged state. From there, what I'll do, I'll commit it now. What commit? What is the command from commit? Git commit -m, the message you want to pass, added src folder, enter. So it's going to commit it. I have committed it in my local, still there in my local. In my local, I have committed it, right? And now what I'll do, I'll push it now. Push origin main branch, right? Now it says it has been pushed. Let me do what? Let me just refresh it. Can you see one folder added now? src just now. And 9 minutes ago, we have added these things. src. If I go to src, you can see these files. Karthik, is it fine now? So this is the error. src main does not match any. Chandu, can you give me what exactly command you are using? Have you moved it to? Uh, have you moved it to staged and then commit state? Can you give me that? So if I don't want to pass any message, if I don't, Surya, you'll have to pass the message. You'll have to pass that message. What is the message? Romil, no, this is to unstage, asking if you want revert commit, you can do. So see, I told you one thing, right? In Git, if you see in .git, you can see there's something called head, right? Head. Yeah, this is a head. So it has the references like what is the current commit you have done. So what you can do is, see, I'll show you. I'll show it to you now. What I'll do, I'll create one more file here. Touch test revert.txt. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll commit this. I'll first add git. Let's take status again. Status git add. What I want to add? I want to add this file. Add. Okay. I'll commit as well. So your doubt was, what if we have committed and I want to uncommit that particular file, right? Check status git status. So that file is there, but I'll commit that file first. Commit -m revert test, right? I have committed that file. Now let's again check the status. So it says there is one file which is there in commit, but this I don't want. I just ignore this, right? So what I'll do, clear again. check status. Now I want to revert the thing what I've committed, right? So I'll do git reset head -1. The recently whatever we have committed, we are going to reset that particular head, right? Ambiguous argument head unknown revision or path not working tree. Okay. Git reset head 1. Just a minute. Okay, hard reset it. Git reset. So if you see this head is now at the one which we the previous commit wherever we were there. Let me check status now. Uh, okay. Maybe something messed up with my Git or something like that. Let me check. But that's how you do. You can try it on your own once. Use this command git reset head -1. You can use this command to revert whatever untracked or whatever committed. It will be back to your state. But this will also work by the way. Let me use with command git revert. Okay. So we have this thing, right? Please enter the commit message. What was the commit message? So, revert test. Right. So we have reverted it again. Deleted the whatever changes were there. So that's a hard revert what I have done. Revert head karke. So whatever changes you have recently done, you can go to that. Okay, let me. So you okay? Let me show you again. Copy this to here. That's a hard. Forcefully I have done it. Status. It's still there, right? Subcopy. .txt. Let me add that. Git add. Sub. Subcopy तो नहीं आएगा. It add. Once we have added it, we can commit it as well. Commit -m sub copy dot txt. Yeah, once it is copied, we can again revert it with the. So you need to remember what is our commit message you have given, right? Then you can do it. Again, same thing. Git revert head. So you're going to it will prompt you to some other screen where you have to enter the message whatever was there. Go down below this, press I, then the message whatever was there. What was the revert whatever message you have added, right? That particular commit message you have to add, and then press enter. So you need to remember what is the commit message you have written. Then it will work. Now, if you see the status again, that's that particular. Basically, it has just renamed it, but still that particular thing is not there in your commit stage mein. So this particular thing will revert whatever you have done. It will revert that head to previous commit head. If I want to pass any message, if I don't, you will have to pass the message. Do we get recording of the session? So I have staged and committed it. So SRC is a file or all file src is the files of git. So files thing, src is a folder whatever we have committed, and in that folder we have a number of files now. Head hyphen one, yeah, that's what we have used. Tilt was there. Okay, you give a try. Grishma, give a try for that. It will revert recent commit, whatever commit was there, it will come back to the previous head. Right? Okay, so now another command what we have learned is git clone, right? So we have done what we in this particular thing we have cloned something. Now what we have done is, so if you see we have two things, right? Open one more. So if you see, uh, yeah, this is what we have in my local, and this is what I am consider this. I'm in different system and where I have cloned this particular code. Now if you see, I have committed something. Furthermore, I have committed src folder. This src folder I have committed in my remote repository. Later, the other person who is going to clone that code, right, who has cloned it. So here, if you see, there's no src here, right? But somehow this .git folder has already created. How it got created? With the command what we have given, clone, git clone, what we have command what we have used. That command is going to create a .git folder for you, so that you are going to track that particular things, that those things, right? So now these changes are there. So there are new changes which is been done in src in the master repository. I want those changes as well in my local. So what I'll do, I'll not again clone it. Do you think I should clone again? I'll not clone it. What I'll do, I'll see git, I'll do a git pull. When I say git pull, right, what it will do, sorry, missed the size. So when I say git pull, what it will do is it will look to a remote repository if there are changes been done. If the changes been done, yes, changes were there. src was added, so it will pull whatever changes are there in my remote repository. It will pull those changes. So if I see now, if I go here, you should see this src folder as well, right? So this new command what we have understood, git clone, git clone, which is going to clone entire repository for you, and another part is git pull. So whatever changes are been done to that remote repository, you're going to pull those changes. So if I again pull, now if I were to see further if that particular person has done changes or not, I'll do git pull again. I'll check. I'll time to time I'll check if my repository is up to date or not. So if I do a git pull, if there are no changes done, it will say already up to date. Right? Now we'll do one more thing. Now what we'll do, we'll again add a few more things to my master this repository, right? Let me delete this, move to bin in src. Let me create one more file. Let me add one more file. .txt. Okay. Now let me check status again. It says we have added these things, right? So we'll do remove this as well again. rm hyphen. Okay. What I'll do, I'll add git add, and I'll change this. I'll just add. Right. Let me check status again. So there are some changes done. We have so just because just because we are having one subcopy.txt file which was empty, and then we have deleted it and we have added one more file called 6.txt. Both are empty. So what Git thought is we have basically renamed that file because both are empty. There are no differences. So that's the reason it says like it's still there, 6.txt. Now let me again commit this thing. Commit m added changes or some whatever message you want to pass, you can pass that message, and then git push origin main branch. Right. I'll go here. I'll just see if things are there or not. In 6 we have 6 here. We should have text revert, test revert. This is also there, right? Okay. So now if you again see here, right, how do I get these changes? How do I pull these changes? There are some changes done in my master branch. How do I pull it? What is the command we need to use? After push the code, after push the code, how we update new code into same file located in Git repository. How we can modify that? I'll show you that modification. But how do we pull it first? Tell me that first. I've cloned it, right? What is the command I need to use to pull the code? I'll use git pull. Now, because if you see before that, we did a git pull, everything was up to date. But now we have done some changes, and now let me do a git pull. It will pull the changes whatever done, right? So these two files were added now to this thing. If you see here, test revert.txt is there. In src, I have 6.txt, right? All right. So now I'll do one thing. Now what we'll do some changes in file. Text.txt. Now I'll do in multiplication. I'll add few things. This is the multiplication code. So what I've done is I've written some line of code I've written. I've saved it, right? From my calculator, I'll see what is the current status. It says modified mul.txt, deleted because we have actually deleted that file from here. Test.revert, which file I have deleted. It says that that file is deleted, and this is still untracked. Now I want to commit these two things, right? So what I'll do, git add. What I want to add? I want to add this mul.txt. And because we have deleted this file, once we have deleted, we need to add. If you want in remote repository, if you that file should be deleted, you need to add that file manually as well. Git add. What you need to add? Test revert.txt. Both are added. Check status. Both are there in my committed stage state. Commit those things. Commit -m added or modified basically. See, this is modified. We have not added. So it says modified. Modified what? mul.txt and deleted test revert.txt. Committed git push origin main. So if you see here in my remote repository, this file is still there, right? And if I go to mul.txt, nothing is there, right? Let me push it and see. I have done the push. So once I have done push, let me refresh the page. If you see that text revert.txt was there, that file is not there. If I go to mul.txt, things are there here. Now let me go to my cloned repository, right? Here if you see test revert.txt is still there. Why it is there? Because we have not taken pull till now. Pavitra, that particular ds.store file. Guys, can you hear me? Okay, that particular file is basically Mac creates that file. It's a user's file, so you don't need to worry about it. Will you please show how src please show how you move src folder into repository. Nilu, same thing, right? The way we have done added the files to commit stage first and then committed, same way. Nothing new. How to change this code variable. Message can be anything. Message can be anything. Whatever messages are there. So now this is a clone repository, right? And because we have not taken a pool of it, so you could still see these things. And if I go to mul.txt, it's still empty. Now let me get a pool of it. This is the cloned. Which one is the cloned? Let me see. Yeah, this is the cloned one, right? Calculator project. This is a cloned one. Now what I need to do is I'll take a git pull. I'll finally show you the changes dynamically being done here. Git pull. Enter. So once it is pulled, if you see the file which was there, test revert, got deleted from my local repository as well. If I go to src or not src, if I go to mul.txt, you could see the changes, whatever we have done in my local, pushed it to cloud. From cloud, we have pulled it to some different local repository, and those changes are there in my local as well. How to do changes via clone repository? Same thing. You can do some changes. Git commit, git push. Same way. explain revert part again. Okay, revert. Let me close this terminal again and open it. Might be some issue with terminals. Sure. All right, let me add new file. Let me change this name to revert करना है तो revert.txt. ठीक है? Increase the size. Let's take status. Git status. Again, that DS store will come. Let me get rid of that. Also, okay, fine. So what I'll do, I'll add this file. Git add this file, then git status. This file was added. Git multiple.txt. Div is still untracked. Let me clear this. Git commit -m. Message is probably try revert or something. Try revert, right? Okay. Now I want to do what? I want to revert the changes, commit changes, right? So two things. One, you can directly do it. One is git. When you can do hard delete of that particular commit, or you can do the other way. Let me try to reset it and do it. And one. Okay, now it worked. Git status. Let me check. Yeah. See, if you see the status, it again came back to untracked version. So because we have already committed this particular file, right? We have also added this message, try revert. And now we need two things. One, you can hard delete it, and one, you can just revert it. Because this head-1 was not working, I tried it again. I guess this was the issue. So now after using this reset thing, it reverted to the previous state. What was the previous state? It came back to the previous state, which is untracked version. Pratik, is it clear now? But it shows error that failed to push some reference what to do. Can you give me command what you are trying, or exactly error message? What error? What is error message? Monica, how to delete file means exactly from where you need to delete. If you want to delete it from here, you can directly delete. I click move to bin or recycle bin, and then commit those changes like deleted file. Same thing. Git commit, git add, file name, git commit, message, git push main. Nothing new. Can we try revert with last commit? Yeah, absolutely. That's the actually way so see, that's the reason I told you commit ID, right? You can also come back to the stage based on commit ID. So if I have like 3 commits done, if you want your repository to come back to this particular commit ID stage, whatever stage is there, you can use this commit ID, and that entire repository will be at that particular stage. So if you see here, it says like browse the repository at this point of history. So that's nothing but with the command you can with the commit ID, whatever commit ID you have, with this commit ID you can come back to this particular stage. Git log one line gives us commit IDs. Oh, okay, fine. You can use that. But you should know like which commit ID has what changes, so you can get those changes from your repository, GitHub. You can get list of all commit IDs, but with the particular message as well. But you won't understand. If you understand that, that's good, like what changes you have done to which file. But if you want to exactly know which file were changed, you can come to GitHub repository and get it. Chandu, there's no difference between master and main. It depends. Some people use master, some people use main branch. But there has to be one master or one main branch. Error src ref spec main does not match any. You try to Google that message, see what exactly is failing. Make sure you have done this. You have initialized the repository, you have added the remote repository, and then you have followed this step. The basic steps, whatever we have discussed, right? Make sure you have done this thing. All right. Fine, guys. If you have any doubts in this commands, let me know. These are the basics of Git. Like, there's no major thing. Or I can explain you the flow as well, how the flow works, but it will be too much for you in one day. So I guess this is fine. The basic Git commands which are used. The same error message I got. Gopiswara, make sure you're following those steps, like initializing a Git, then adding files to that particular repository, and then commit and push. Guys, any doubts? Will the same command before? Yes. So some basically Git will same command will followed everywhere. Windows OS, Mac OS, or Linux. Everywhere commands of Git will be same. Guys, any doubts? Anyone else facing the same issue? Like what issue Gopiswara or Chandu is facing? Not Chandu. Inamdar. Any doubts in these commands? Git init to initialize empty repository. Git status to every time check what is the current status of my like where exactly we are. Git add to move the file from untracked to tracked and stage. Git commit to commit it to my local repository with some messages, whatever message you want to have. And with this, you're going to get some commit ID. Both are same. And then git push. And then git push to wherever repository you want to push. And before that, you need to add this as well. I missed one command. Git remote add origin and the URL, your repository URL. Right? You can do one thing. You can do what? You can, if you want to try this cloning and pulling thing, you can. You can try playing with this repository or not this specifically. Let me give you another. Oh, that's fine. You can use this. That's how you can use. So any repository you try to clone and any repository you can clone and do a pull and push with that. Give you you can play with this repository. You can see if you are able to give it to everyone. I'm not sure if you are able to access this file. I have pasted a link inside. See if you can access it. Okay, thanks, man. Thanks, Romil. Pratik, any more today? No, Pratik. I guess we are good with this. These are the basics. इतना enough है तुम लोग के लिए. मतलब these are enough for basics of it. Can you please proceed? Wanted to know other things. Gayatri, I guess we'll go out of time if I explain those things. These are the basics. You will be working with these commands itself. There's no major difference with different commands you'll be working on. These are the basics what you'll be working. So I guess you are good with these commands. Practice these commands: git pull push, git init, initialize empty repository, play with the repository I have given, or any repository. You can just Google some open source Git repositories, right? Take any repository, try to play with that. Click any repository, try to clone this. Don't download this zip. Clone it. Use a command git clone. This is going to clone this entire repository. Do changes, whatever you want to do changes. You can also push it, but I guess this person will not give you access to push it. So give a try. We'll get certified for this. Also,
Thanks, man. Any Spring Boot session planned going forward? Yeah, there will be a Spring Boot session planned. Guys, do you have any doubts in this? Let me know. Quickly. We'll run out of time then. Git clone, git init, git add, git status. Main is git status, git remote add origin, then the name of your repository. Later you have git commit with hyphen m is nothing but a message, and then git push origin, git clone and git pull. 5-6 command, no big deal. How to clone? Explain once again. Saksham, cloning is very easy. Go to your repository, click on this code. It will prompt you one cloning pop-up. Copy this URL, entire URL. Go to any folder, create new folder. Probably I'll create new folder called HMS or something. Go to command prompt. Use git clone command, CLONE, and paste this entire URL, like repository URL from where you need to clone it. Let me increase the size. Git clone. This is a command, and this is the entire URL of this repository. How do you get it? Go to repository, click here, copy this. Guys, any doubts in this? Okay, from Spring Framework. How can we update old code with new code in same file? One can is that's it, just modify that file. No big deal. Go to that file if you want to update it. I guess we have done changes in addition as well. Go here, remove this line. Remove this line, save it. Check the current status. What is the current status? Git status. It says modified, right? It says modified. Copy this, git add. Same procedure. Add, git commit, -m, changed, addition.txt, git push, origin, origin mean. Right? Now, if you see again, you see here, we have changed what? We have changed in addition. We have removed something, so it's not there now here. And if you see commits also, let's go to commits, changed addition.txt. What is the change we have done? Minus is nothing but we have removed this line. From here, we went to this particular thing. Is it fine, Venkatesh, now? How will command from no repository name? Saksham, that's what the command is, right? To add, to link my remote and local. Command what we mentioned. Put this again. Git remote. Write it. Git remote add origin and the URL where you want to point, where you want to link it. For Spring Framework, any plan? Vishwa, you can probably Geekster will connect with you guys and make you more understand that those things. So will the person know we have cloned as no, Manish, no one will know a person repository has been cloned. But if you are going to make changes and push it, he might understand it. Git push origin command works for me. Perfect. Gopi, what was the issue? Are you able to solve it? Venkatesh, you can Google it. Those things like how do you set these credentials for command terminal. All right, guys, if you are done with this, I'll just stop sharing. If you don't have any doubts, I'll just stop sharing. Fine, chalo. Bye bye. Good night.